Hey everybody, I'm Kim Wilkin, Realtor and Broker Associate based here in Austin, Texas at eXp. And today I'm so excited. I have Russ Laggan, who is a Regional Director, VP of Growth. He is going to be talking to us today a little bit about what it looks like moving a 20-ish person brokerage over to eXp. So Russ, thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. It's a pleasure to get this opportunity to chat with you. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. I appreciate being invited. It's always nice and always flattering to me to get invited to do anything. So I love
it. I love it. So I was a previous business owner, and I know what it's like, the chaos and the minutia behind it. You actually aren't doing what you love to do anymore. You're running a business. You're doing the accounting. You're fixing the copier. You're calling those people. Tell us a little bit about what's happening right now in the market with brokers and what's happening to them in the shift in the economy.
Yeah, so it's amazing. The world shifted and the business shifted, and we're still trying to do a lot of things the way we did them before, and then the results aren't that great. And now the results are getting worse. And here's the thing that most people just don't know. Most people don't realize that when you're running a small brokerage, small real estate brokerage, most of the time. Let's go back to let's name some names here. Okay, so you go back to the Remax days. So in Remax in 2000s or so, plus or minus, going into 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, your typical Remax office was a fee-based office, and they would have people come in and they pay a monthly, and it was usually $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, $1,400, depending on what market you're in. Some higher, some a little lower, but typically around $1,000, $1,200 a month for an agent, and they could do as many sales as they wanted. And they just had to pay the 5% franchise fee, basically, right? And we used to be able to run the math on that and say, okay, when a Remax office gets to about 20 agents, that's when it's breaking even. Yep. And people go, wait a minute, like how many Remax offices do we know that don't have 20 agents? And it's a bunch of them. And here's the rub, right? In 2006, 7, 8, market was shifting, and a lot of the Remax offices are like, we got to be able to keep our people. We got people that aren't doing any sales, so we need to shift. So can we offer like an 80-20 where they don't have the monthly? And some of them started adding that and doing that. Now the rub is now you don't have the monthly coming in, so now you need 30 or so, 35 people to be able to make the monthly net. Because a monthly net to run a typical 20 or so agent brokerage with a small office space and the normal necessary stuff to make the thing move, it's about $20K a month.
That's okay, so overhead.
I had run
guaranteed of income.
I had run 28 offices myself at one point. So I had worked for a company, and I was the regional running the lower half of the country, and I had 28 offices in 9 states. And when I looked at the math, they were on average right around plus or minus 20. The ones that were run super, super lean, super cheap were like 12. Mm-hmm. The one that we ran out of a Regis suite was still 8. Okay. Now keep in mind, these people aren't even paying the owner broker at that point. That's just the cost of having the business and having a small space and the E&O and the technologies and the rest of the things that go with it. So when we start looking at the math and we start looking at some of these small brokerages, most of the time I look at them and I'm like, oh man, you got 20 people and you have an office? There's no way these people are making money. So what happens is you've got all of these people doing what they got to do, which is selling houses. So now the owner is selling houses to pay their own personal bills. They do the first 20 agents or so, plus or minus, just to get to even. And most of the time it's more like 30 or 40. And then here's the real rub. I asked them, what do you love to do? So I always start a conversation with a brokerage and say, tell me what you love to do. What are you good at? What do you love to do? And they're like, I like teaching, training, growing people, mentoring people, loving people to success. I love helping other people change their lives. I was like, all right, cool. So I noticed you didn't say bookkeeping and accounting, and you didn't say any of that stuff, right? And they're like, no. I said, here's the worst part. The worst thing you could do is actually grow, because when you get to 50 or 60, you're going to be spending even less time doing the stuff you love. So this is where this drawing came from, actually. So this drawing
it's the best drawing, Russ.
When you're working under the umbrella or a franchise umbrella, this is you as either a broker owner or you under a franchise. You work under the umbrella, whether it's yours or somebody other brand umbrella. But in this scenario, you have to do 100% of both the front end of the business and the back end of the business. Now the franchise will typically, like, we have the technology suites and the packages and so forth. So you plug into their stuff, but you still have to do the bookkeeping. You still have to do the accounting. You still have to deal with the lease. You still have to deal with toilet paper. You have to deal with administrators. You have to deal with compliance, checking paperwork, dealing with the state, dealing with, God forbid, you get an ethics complaint, all of the things that go with it, not to mention the legal fees, and then reading all these documents and making sure everything's dotted and T's crossed so that you don't end up in jail at some point. Okay, so you got to do all of that stuff. So in the scenario that we talk about when we say, hey, what is the difference between eXp and other, a lot of people really can't quantify it. And here's why it was really a disruptor. In almost all scenarios, you either go under a franchise or you're under your own thing and you have to do the whole thing, okay? In the eXp scenario, I can say to you now, wait a minute, so you said you want to love, train, teach, coach, and help people be successful? Okay, great. So let me explain to you how eXp works. So I automatically have the ability to say to them, listen, if I could put you in a position where you could actually go back to doing the things that you love, would you want to talk about that? And most of them are like, at this point, they're like, you know what? Yes, absolutely I do, because I'm just done, right? So in the eXp system, eXp is going to take a lot of that stuff. So instead of working under the umbrella, you work on the eXp platform. So what that does is this still gives you all the things that you love, still gives it to be, it's about you. You can grow your stuff, you can grow your brand, you can grow your thing, you can grow your team. But instead of you saying, hey, I got to 30 or 40 and I'm just barely breaking even, I'm still having trade time selling homes. Over on this side, when you get to 50 or you get to 100 or you get to 150 or 550, you're still doing the stuff you love. Now, instead of thinking, if I could get my brokerage to 50, I want you to be thinking, if I could get my group to a 500, if you can get it to 500, you can get it to 5,000 and doing the stuff you love, because now you can run an organization on this platform. You can still have your team trading time for money selling houses, get the house sales stuff because bigger dollars. And in the process of doing that, you can start building an organization. So you have team, trade time for money selling houses. You have organization, trade time for money with people. Okay. So in most brokerage scenarios, you have this, right? House sale equals money. Mm-hmm. And in the eXp scenario and system, we have this secondary equation as a byproduct of doing this, which is people equals money. So now, are there other companies that have various variations of this? Sure, but none of them had the ability to do it at a level which when you start off, you're doing 100% of this and you're doing 1% of this, right? What happens is you get to the point where you get 100% of this and you can drop that down to 1. So you can literally replace this income with this if you build that correctly. So if you really are about the people and not as much about that, you can focus on the people part and actually set yourself up so that's all you do. And then you can set yourself up with a sidekick to run that with you side by side, and you can go away for a month and it doesn't fall apart.
That's amazing. It's like Henry Ford said, he'd rather have 1% of 100 people than 100% of one person. Agreed. And that's what's amazing about eXp. So can you explain a little bit of, let's just pretend I'm a 20-person brokerage that I'm ready to move over to eXp. How could I structure my business? One, I want to, let's just use this scenario. I want to be involved for the next 5 years. I want to teach, train, educate. I want to take care of my people. And I sort of want to start to retire and do less transactions. So what would you set up my 20-person brokerage to look like if I want to take care of my people, train and educate, and say 5 years from now, I'm like, peace out.
If they want an exit and they're willing to let go of their whole team and hand their team over to us to run, perfectly fine. So you've got a couple of different options coming over to eXp.
Yeah.
Okay? You can come over to eXp and let's just say you're backdoor realty right now. You can become backdoor group. We can roll you in as a team, which is option 1, which allows you to have you and everybody works with you as a team. So they feel like they're still part of something bigger than themselves. They still feel like they're part of the backdoor program, part of the backdoor group. They still feel loved and appreciated. They're still looking to you for team leadership. Mm-hmm. Or option 2 is you can move all of your team over. You can build a small nugget team with only 2 or 3 of your favorite people, have 2 or 3 of your favorite people on your team, and then you can have the other 17 in your organization. So you can still get a little bit here and there from them. They can still be around you, but you control that. So now you can become highly effective, be really streamlined with your own personal team, do high level production with the least amount of people, which means you got a lot of less time, energy, and effort managing and babysitting. And get the people that aren't really contributing to the game, they can still be around you and you can still make residual monies off of them through what we call revenue share. So there's still some money in it for you, but they're not physically on your team. So which way is better for you?
I I would like to maintain my brokerage, my entire team, all 20 people inside of eXp, because I'm really trying to get rid of the compliance. I'm really trying to get rid of the E&O and the calls at 11 o'clock to the broker, which happens to be me, etc. So that's what my goal is.
Okay, so ultimately then you're going to come over to the company as a team. You've got a couple of choices as a team. You can have them set up as a standard self-organized team where they have one type of split. You can have them on a standard team, which would give each person under you an $8,000 cap, which lowers the cost of entry for each one of them. And depending on your total performance, if you're over $40 million in closed sales, over 10 people producing agents, and you're going to contribute over $56,000 in company dollar to eXp, by the way we set this up, you could qualify to be what we call a mega team. Mega team gives you the advantage of saying you only have a $4,000 cap to all those people. So you come under team leader, and then everybody under that team leader can come in as a $4,000 cap, which makes it easier for you to be able to retain people and leaves more dollars that you can put in your pocket long term. So if you are still going to be focused on doing the house sale thing and your people are going to be focusing on the house sale thing, coming in as a mega team with 20 people and hitting those other metrics would be ideal way to build that team, keep least money out of your people's pockets and allow you to put more money in your pocket. So it's kind of a win-win.
So with a self-organized team, everybody is on the 16K cap and everybody has the chance to icon and we're all just working together, but I'm calling myself the team lead. So Correct. If I want to charge them like a 10% fee, I can, or I don't have to, I can. Yeah.
So as a self-organized team, if everybody comes in and they have their own $16,000 cap, anybody that would qualify for the icon qualifications would be able to hit icon qualifications and receive their cap back in stock. There's a couple other qualifications that go with that, but that would get them back to almost net even on the cap part at least, which is cool. And then if I would like to, here's the way I would set it up. Listen, if you're going to use the name and be part of us and hang around with us and use the logo, you just pay me a 5% referral fee on everything you do, and you can just hang with us.
Yeah.
So that's a way to make it really, really simple. Let these people stand on their own 2 feet, but still be associated with us and makes it worth my while. But that's self-organized team where everybody's on a 16K cap. As soon as you go to the $8,000 cap, I want every one of these people on here to have a blended average of 25% to the team lead. So if you're going to run an actual team, real team, where you're trading time for money selling houses, every time one of your people sells a house, you need to get at least a 25% split from them on average. Now, we just switched this recently so that if you have somebody that's been with you for 3 or 4 years and they're doing 30 or 40 sales, but you still want them to be on the team, but you don't want to make them pay 25% on all their sales, you could have somebody at a 90-10 doing 30 sales, but you're going to need somebody at 60-40 doing 30 sales, or multiple people at 60-40 doing 30 sales to be able to balance that. Again, we're talking blended 25, okay? If I got 10 sales at 90-10, if I got 10 sales at 60-40 with other people, even if it's 2, 3, 4, 5 people, as long as there's 10 and 10, you're blended 25%. Okay, and here's the reason we use that. If you're running a business like this, if these guys aren't around 25% so plus or minus company dollar, it's usually about 22% company dollar to break even. Some of these guys are running at 25, which means they're only netting 3%. Heck, in the eXp system, shut the doors, close the bank, lock it down. In eXp on the first tier, you get 3.5, and you have none of the overhead.
Say that again. Say that one more time. It's crazy.
A small brokerage, very common. A small brokerage, when you're looking at traditional brokerage models, they need to run at, so let me say, I can name it, examples, dozens and dozens of examples, okay? My Prudential Tropical Realty days back in Tampa, my Berkshire Hathaway days, my Carrington Real Estate days, the typical company dollar plus or minus to break even was 22%. That's the cost to run a business. That's why I'm saying it costs around 20 grand a month to break even with a normal small brokerage. About 22% company dollar. So in this scenario, you've got 25%. You're only making 3% if you have 25% blended average from your people in your brokerage. If you move over to eXp, our first tier just on revenue share is 3.5. You're 0.5% ahead just walking the door over, and you don't have the back end costs.
I don't have any of the back end, any of the hassle, any of the minutia, no more calls at 11 o'clock at night. I just have my little sign and my little brand and my team works under it. I get to teach and love on them and educate them. without all the minutia, and it's up to 3.5% of their paid in revenue.
You got it.
I'm in.
Yeah. So this is where when we start setting people up right, and we get them to understand what the three are, figure out which one they are, show them the difference between what they're doing and what they'd be doing over here, and make sure they understand what we're doing. Then we say, now, does that sound more like what you originally dreamed your brokerage to look like? Because we understand most of these broker owners get into there because they're these guys. I love people and I think I can do better than the previous brokerage. And they put this whole thing together and then they're like, but I'm free to have my own brokerage. And I'm like, you're free to live in the bird cage that you built for yourself. And the bigger you build it, the smaller the cage gets. The more people you get, the tighter the bird cage gets. And now you're not having any fun at all. And it's not what you thought it was. So you can either get out, shift, or level up. Would you like to keep doing this, but do it better? Level up. Would you like to keep doing this, but do it differently? Yeah. Dump the crap, do the good. Now I'm living a better life and I'm happier and I don't want to kick the dog every time I walk in the house. Everybody's happier. Or, you know what? I'm just done all the way around the board. I don't want to do this anymore. Get out.
And in addition to this, I love the idea of taking care of my people. When I sold my business, I was really concerned about taking care of my people. Yes. And at eXp, we have the company stock that we are awarded, plus we can buy. We also have the organization. So as I start the organization with my 20 people brokerage, but as my people come over and they bring on new people, they're in a win-win-win that they never had the opportunity before either. So I'm actually taking care of my people better than I ever could on my own.
So you have the ability to take your people and have them go from just trading time for money selling houses to, in the process of while they're doing that, they're going to bump into real estate agents. Listen, all you got to do is just introduce them to me. I'll help them come along. If they want to come along, we'll just tuck them under you. And now you've got some residual people equals cash too in the course of normally doing business. And me as a leader, I want to make sure my people win too. So let me help you win. Okay. Secondly, when you got these scenarios, and most of these scenarios, you have franchise fees. I was talking to a company that has an 8% franchise fee. And I said to the guy, how much business did you do? He did $300,000 plus in GCI. I said, let's round down to 300, right? So you paid 8 times 3. He paid $24,000 in franchise fees, just in franchise fees. I said, here's an interesting idea. Instead of doing that, okay, that's 24. By the way, you're going to be in business for how long? 10 more years. That's $240,000. And at the 10-year mark, you go into the office and say, hey, by the way, I want my 240 back. And they're going to say, no. Okay. In this scenario, I want you to invest in yourself 5%. So every year you're investing in yourself $15,000 on that same 300K. So 300 gross commission income, you invest 5% in yourself. Here's the fun part. We'll sell it to you at a 10% discount. So you're making money right out of the gate starting off. If it doesn't go up $1 and you don't even factor in the 10%, that's 15 times 10 years. Now you've got 150K in stock in the company. You automatically set yourself up for a savings program. Do you remember your grandpa probably like, whatever you do, take the 401k and max it out. This is your grandpa talking. Max out, you build your own 401k. And if the stock doesn't go up $1, you're still at $150,000. Don't even factor in the 10% discount you bought it at, you're still at $150,000. So would you rather be 240 in the hole or ahead 150? So are we really taking good care of your people, making sure every single one of them has more dollars in their pocket at the end of the day? That times 20 people, times 10, that's, let's do the math on that. 150K times 1.5 million times 20 people. That means you're putting $3 million in the pockets of your people. These 20 have $3 more million in their pocket at the end of that 20 years. So who's doing good by their people?
I am, by moving the company over to eXp.
And then make them invest in themselves doing the same amount of business, right?
That's great.
All things like that make a big difference. And it's not something I could do running my own business. I couldn't have a bunch of things, including technology, but there's no way I could have put $3 more million in my agent's pockets by doing the same exact thing, trading time for money, selling houses. Could have never done that. I couldn't afford to do that as a business owner. So really, what am I doing? I'm taking care of myself, getting me back to what I want to do, and taking good care of my people. That's a win-win-win. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot too. That's amazing. Russ, this is so educational. It just makes so much sense for any small brokerage to bring their brand over and run inside of our platform. And we've really set up at eXp, we've set up some great initiatives, great programs. We are very organized in the fact of designing your business the way you want it, by talking to you, Russ, by talking to the other team, someone who is interested in talking to eXp. We just set them up, talk to you, and they can structure their business the way they want to structure the business inside of our platform. Because as you said with your box of, it's the platform that you can build your business on top of the platform.
Yep. So you can keep your identity, keep your team together, keep the flavor, keep the feel, keep your tribe, and we'll build something that makes sense all the way across the board. So the question really isn't, should I do this or not? Should you at least look at it?
Yes.
I'm just saying, take a look. If you like what you see in the box, buy the thing. If you don't like what you see in the box, cool. At least you know. Now you know. You don't ever have to wonder. That's right. I kind of like it.
I like that a lot. So Russ, I'm so grateful for your time. It's an incredible opportunity. I love what you're saying here. If you are a broker, you can get your life back. You can get your time back. You can start doing again what you originally set out to do. Correct?
That's what we're talking about. Get you back to doing what you originally did this for. You started your brokerage for a reason, and now it's not what you thought it was. And now you're not doing what you really love to do. Let's get you back doing the stuff you love. Get you back on track so your 10-year plan works instead of making it harder. Your 10-year plan works. If you want to have that conversation, that's what we're doing. We're showing people how to become that guy, that girl.
That's great. So if you are interested in learning more or setting up a conversation about how to get your life back and get doing what you actually wanted to do originally, then our information is in the description below, and we would love to help you see if this is the perfect fit for you. Thanks so much, everybody, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, Russ. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Bye.